Okay. So today we are talking again about slope and rate of change. We are going to just do a quick review because you guys had a Friday off school, Saturday, Sunday brain dump, and then you took a test yesterday. I feel like anytime you take a test, everything that was on your test, you brain dump it, and we need this for this whole unit. So someone tell me what they know about slope. Dakota, what do you know about slope since you want to talk?
There's an X and a Y intercept. Right?
No. X and Y intercepts are where a graph crosses the X and Y axis. Shh.
I don't remember.
Okay, move up front. Take one of those seats in the front. You'll be fine. It'll be okay.
Sorry.
Dakota, move up front.
It's not healthy for me.
It is healthy for you. Don't make me ask again. Kate.
Isn't the slope like up 2 over -1?
So you're counting how much you go up and how much you go over? Okay.
-1's where it crosses the y-axis.
Okay, so this M is my slope. Okay, Dakota, I want you to move in one of the 4 seats. I wasn't real specific, sorry. Thank you. So, M is my slope. This is the point that I'm going to start at. So let's just find the point 2, -1. So when X is 2 and Y is -1, that's this point right here. And from there, I'm going to count my slope. Now, my slope is -1, and I need to write that as a fraction so I can figure out how much I go up or down and how much I run to the right. The top number tells me the up or down. So because my slope is -1, am I going to go up or am I going to go down? I'm going to go down. And we always run to the right. So from this little pink point that I graphed originally, this is point P, I have to go down 1 and over 1 and plot a new point. And I'm going to do it again, down 1 and over 1, down 1 and over 1. You should always have 3 or 4 points plotted before you connect them with a straight line. So I'm going to call this line 1. So we're going to do the same thing for the next equation, or the next point. So we're right here at number 2. So where do I plot my first point? Yeah, -3, 3. So that means starting at the origin, I'm going to go to the left, -3 on my x-axis, up 3 on my y. So now let's count the slope there. My slope for this graph is -2 over 7. Does that negative mean I go up or down? Down 2 and to the right 7. And I really do feel like it helps if you draw the arrows. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Am I going to be able to do more than 2 points on this graph? No, I'm not. I've kind of run out of space. So I'm going to connect these 2 points with a line. And I'm going to call this line number 2. That is line number 2. Now I'm going to do number 3. So I begin at the ordered pair -2, -3. So when x is -2, y is -3. So this is where I'm starting, right down here. -2, -3. My slope, 4 over 3, means that I go up because it's positive, and we always run to the right. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then run to the right, 1, 2, 3. So that point is actually right there at 1, 1. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3. And so I'm able to get 3 points on this one. So I'm connecting my orange points. And this is line number 3. Which graphs of those 3 lines, when you look at it from left to right, goes up? Line 3. And notice that line 3 is the only one that has positive slope. That's kind of a quick check. You know that you graphed your lines correctly if at least the slope matches. They both have negative slope or whatever, okay? Questions? Okay, now let's find the slope given 2 points. Now we've been doing this like a million times over. So, Kane, tell us how you want to do that. Number 1, yeah.
We'll do X. So it's Y1 minus Y2.
It's really y2 minus y1, but you'll get the same results. Keep going.
And then combine with X2 minus X1.
So x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so what do you want to put in that? Yeah, but I'm recording this, so after you go up there and write it, then I have to write it. Now, if you like using the table method instead of the y2, no, you're fine. I'm just saying to everybody else, if you like the table method, go ahead and do that.
1 minus.
Okay. Did everybody get -2 over -3? I think there's a slight mistake in that, Kane. So when you subtract, you have, yeah, very good. You have 1 minus 3, but 2 minus a negative turns into a positive. There you go. So -2 over 7. Perfect. You can come and get a candy. All right. Who wants to do number 2? Kate, what method are you going to use?
I'm gonna do the Y2 minus Y1.
Okay, go ahead and do it up on the board, and I'm just going to label these. It's back here.
I'm bad at math.
That's okay. Can you simplify -4 over -3? A negative divided by a negative is a,
Positive.
there you go. So just make it +4 over +3.
Oh,
Good, perfect. So -1 minus 3 over 1 minus 4. We get -4 over -3, which just means that our slope is 4/3. All right. Number 1, finding the slope of the table. Are you erasing that for me, Kane? Would you please? We're finding the slope of the table. So remember, we're just finding the change. So to go from 10 to 4, what do I do? 4 to -2, -6. That change in the y is pretty consistent, right? They're all -6. That's what we want. What about the change in x? So my slope is my change in y over my change in x, which means, what does that equal?
-6 over -2.
Which reduces to
3 over 1.
3 over 1, or 3. Awesome. Okay. What am I doing here? to go from 6 to 2, Abigail?
-4.
Yeah. 2 to -2. So that's pretty consistent change in my y. What is my change in my x?
+2.
+2. So my slope is my change in my y over my change in x, which reduces to anyone? -4 over 2 is the same thing as,
-2.
yeah, -2 over 1. What's happening here?
Nothing.
What's happening here?
+1.
So my change in y over my change in x. What is 0 divided by 1?
0.
It's 0. What kind of line has a slope of 0? Horizontal, yeah. Okay. And then I have some more. Find the missing coordinates. We had this on our test. Some of you guys did really well on it, and some of you guys did not do so well on that. So remember, when we do this, the first thing you want to do is turn your slope into a fraction. So I'm going to label my points x1, y1, x2, y2. I have -3 minus 9 over x minus 5. Can we simplify that? Can we simplify either the numerator or the denominator?
-12.
Yeah, the numerator is -12. Thank you, Brody. So -12 over x minus 5 equals my slope, which is -4 over 1. So now I have this expression or this equation that says one fraction equals another fraction. What do we call that when we have a fraction equal to a fraction? Begins with a P. P-R-O,
Proportionate.
yeah, it's a proportion. So we solve it by using the cross product. So I have -4 times the quantity x minus 5 equals -12 times 1. So now I have an equation that I have to solve. So how am I going to go about doing that? Good job. I need to distribute. -4 times x is -4x. -4 times -5 is +20 equals, let's see, -12 times 1 is just -12. I'm trying to get x all by itself. What do you want to do next? You guys are awesome. Subtract the 20. The signs are the same, so we're going to add and keep. Add these two numbers together, 32. Keep the sign. Last step, divide both sides by -4. And I find out that x equals a +8, right? Okay, let's set it up again. So x1, y1, x2, y2, y2, 1 minus y1, 4 over x2, 7 minus x1, x. Can we simplify that at all? Can we simplify that? Sure we can. What's 1 minus 4?
3.
-3. So I have -3 in the numerator over 7 minus x in the denominator, and it has to equal 3 over 4. So again, we have this proportion, and the only way to solve a proportion is to use the cross product method. So I have 3 times the quantity, 7 minus x, equals negative 3 times 4. How am I going to simplify? Distribute. Thank you, Kate. So was that Amira? Sorry. So 21 minus 3x equals negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. What do you want to do next? Subtract 21. So I have negative 3x equals, the signs are the same. So I'm going to add those two numbers together and keep the sign, negative 33. Last step, divide both sides by negative 3. So I find out that x equals 11. X equals 11. Do you guys feel okay with that? Do you remember doing that? Okay. We have 2 examples of rate of change. They're both word problems. Henry was driving a car at a constant speed on the New York State Thruway. He noticed that after driving 1 hour, he had 12 gallons of gas left. Then, after driving for a total of 3 hours, he had 8 gallons. Assume in this problem that there's a linear relationship between the time that he drove or the amount of gas left and the time he's been driving. So express this information as 2 ordered pairs. It says where the independent variable, that's the x, is time, and the dependent variable, y, is gallons of gas. So we need to come up with 2 ordered pairs from this problem. So the first ordered pair is sitting right here. 112. 1 represents 1 hour, 12 represents gallons of gas. My second ordered pair is sitting right here. 3, 8. 3 hours, 8 gallons of gas. Asks us to calculate the slope, include our units. Calculate the slope, include our units. I'm going to use the table method for calculating the slope. So 1 and 12, 3 and 8. What did I do to 12 to make it equal 8? Minus 4. So that's my top number, minus 4. What did I do to the 1 to make it equal 3? Plus 2. Yeah. So remember that the number on the y-axis represents what? Yeah. So I have negative 4 gallons over the x-axis is time in hours. So can I reduce that? So negative 2 over 1, meaning since it's negative, how do we put that in terms of, what does that negative gallons represent?
You're losing 2 gallons.
Yeah, I'm losing or using, right? So I'm using 2 gallons of gas each hour. Using 2 gallons of gas per hour. He's probably driving like a turtle because that's not very realistic. So how long after he started driving will he run out of gas? How did you figure that out? Share your thinking. So I started with 12 gallons, and you took that and you divided it by 2 gallons per hour. And that means I'm going to have no more gas after 6 hours. I think that's a great way to think about that. So I run out of gas after 6 hours. I'm going to do something else over here just because some people don't think about math that way. So when I first started, oh no, after the first hour, sorry. I need to erase that. I'm going to make a table really fast. So my first hour, I had 12 gallons. And then after 3 hours, I had 8. If each hour makes us lose 2 gallons of gas, if I drive for 4 hours, I take 2 away, that's 6. Drive for 5 hours, take 2 away, that's. Drive for 6 hours, take 2 away, that's. Drive for 7 hours, take. So who's correct? Who's correct? The table is correct. Let me tell you why dividing by 2 isn't going to work. Because when you divide by 2, your rate is not a division problem, it's a subtraction problem. Okay? And when you divide by 2 or subtract 2 each time, you have to remember that that wasn't when you started at 0. That was after 1 hour of time. So you would have had to add 1 hour back into that. So maybe make a table for that one. It's 7 hours that he'll run out of gas. All right, over the time interval given, calculate the rate of change for each variable and include units. So remember, time is X. This is height, or Y. So when my plant is 3 weeks old, it's 4 inches tall. When my plant is 15 weeks old, it's 46 inches tall. This should look so much kind of like the problem you had on the back of your test yesterday. I made it extra credit. What's my change in Y? Yeah, plus 42. What's my change in X? So can I turn this into, like, how can I simplify this as much as possible? Let's see, if I divide by 3, I think I get 14 over 4. If I divide by 2, I get 7 over 2. If I divide by 2 again, I get 3.5 over 1. Did you get that when you did it originally on your calculator, Aiden? Okay. So this means that it's growing 3.5 inches per week, or for every 1 week. After driving 4 hours, Tom is 82 miles from home. He drives for 7 hours and he's 244 miles from home. Let's talk about our rate there. Someone needs to calculate that because my brain is tired. 244 minus 82 is,
162.
thank you, 162. 4 plus 3 is 7. So my change, 162 over 3, and that does reduce nicely. What's 162 divided by 3? So it's 54 miles for each hour, or per 1 hour. Okay. All right. So we have this as our homework tonight, the 2.1, 2.2. I know that we have 50 minutes. We have 50 minutes. So you have your 2.1 and 2.2. You also have EDIA slope. There's 5 questions there.